It's almost midnight, Watchers. Are you ready to join the Midnight Watchers to talk about their favorite strange and scary movies?
Welcome. This is Koji,
It's Quentin.
And Jennifer.
and this is the Midnight Watchers, and this is episode number 24. Yay, we made it 24 episodes, and I'm happy to announce this is the last episode of this season, and we do have a surprise for you guys for next season, so stay tuned for that. Today, continuing our theme about holidays and Christmas, we're going to be we watched Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Silent Night,
Yes.
Deadly. Oh no. Okay. Maybe did I write the wrong information?
Do you watch the wrong movie?
Because
Oh my
remember,
goodness.
you asked us, you said, we are watching Silent Night, Deadly Night, not Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Oh no. Okay. Well, maybe I watched totally the wrong movie. I think I might have watched.
What?
But you were the one who wrote the email, I remember, because you were like, make sure, but let's see.
Yeah, let's see. That's weird.
Well, which is
Well,
yours
what-
from 1984, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys watched the 1984. Yeah, I watched the 1972 version. Okay. So I did not. Why don't you, Quentin? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the movie?
Well, it's basically it's the first part in the installment of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Actually, I've started watching all of them, but it's basically about this young boy who, he was, I think it's set in the 70s when the movie started, and he basically was with his parents, and then a crazy Santa Claus who was actually a robber robbed the store, and then stopped their car, and then raped the boy's mom, and also killed the boy's dad. He actually killed them both. And so the boy and his brother, the brother was a baby, was put into like a orphanage. And since then, he's been having like basically a fear of Santa Clauses. And finally, when he turned 18, he was sent to work by the good sister of the orphanage. And then he was forced to play a Santa Claus, and it drove him crazy and started going on a rampage and started killing off, people in the town. To really sort of like a kind of sad conclusion, it's just such a classic that I've been watching it since I first saw it, and I've always thought it was very disturbing. And it's disturbing mostly because it was kind of sad, and it's really the movie sort of like charts the boys growing up all the way up to him going crazy and started murdering people. So it's just such a unique film that I've never really seen. I've never seen such a horror film that's both tragic and sad, and yet the killer Santa Claus is actually really a handsome kind of guy. So it breaks a lot of ground for me. What do you think, Jennifer?
Yeah, I loved it. So I wasn't expecting very much because the name. And wait, so Koji, did you watch the wrong movie?
I totally watched the wrong movie.
No, but I want
It's okay.
I want your opinion on this one. Anyway, because I loved it. It was so good. I didn't expect much. The name, the title, and I don't know. I was just thinking Killer Santa Claus. I thought of the Killer Satan costume guy and Satan's little helper. And for some reason I thought they were like going to be the same type of movie, and it wasn't. And what to me was the best part of this movie is I felt like they explained why he turns into a killer. And like so many, I mean, I think I mentioned it before, I'm not a super fan of slasher movies. Like growing up when I was into horror movies, I liked the ones that were more about like monsters and creatures and witches and vampires and zombies and aliens and weird things, right? So with slasher movies, I mean, I like the gore and the makeup and stuff, but like if they don't, it's more fun when I understand the psychological reason why they're killing. And that's what was great about this movie is they spend like the first part of the movie kind of explaining it.
And you kind of feel really bad for the boy and just everything that he's gone through. And just even from the very first scene, if you remember, I saw it as a kid. I didn't quite understand it because it was so creepy. But it was just like they were going to go see the dad, who was actually in a old folks home or something. And then he sort of like and he sort of went crazy when the boy was alone with him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you weren't really sure if that was in the boy's imagination And so that was kind of like a weird. Did you feel it was a weird scene that you're not really sure if it is in the boy's imagination, and then you see from his point of view that he sort of like witnessed the parents' murder. It's just like a really bad Christmas Eve for this kid.
Yeah. It's disturbing. It's disturbing what happens to him. And like at first I thought the killer Santa Claus was the guy that robbed the bodega or whatever. The one that killed his parents. I thought that was gonna be the killer Santa. But no, they explain from like childhood to preteen or younger child to adult, right? So, and yeah, he was very handsome. He was so good looking.
And so like he was a really kind of like this model boy, and you felt like, wow, it's so tragic that he kind of went crazy, and also I think like it's also about his adolescent, like not his teen sexual frustration, because the girl that he kind of like was attracted to, that he imagined he was going to have sex with for the first time, and ended up to be hooking up with some kind of sleazy guy in the office that he hated, his boss or something. So that's just a lot. It's I feel like it's kind of the precursor to the serial killer genre movie. So the whole serial killer genre movie that eventually, if you haven't seen it, you should see. It's Henry the Portrait of a Serial Killer in 1986, which is a very kind of gritty portrayal of it's a gritty portrayal of a serial killer. And then basically from then on, the slasher movie split off into this more kind of true crime serial killer movies that people are making up, Ted Bundy, and because Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer is not based on a real true serial killer, but it was very much like, what a real serial killer would do, versus I think Silent Deadly Night was sort of beginning to have a little bit of sensibility of like the crime realism of it, but still remains very much a horror film.
Would that be a good midnight movie to watch? Henriette Portrait?
Yes, it was definitely a midnight movie. I mean that's a classic that if you haven't seen it, and it was just I just remember when I saw it, I think half the theater walked out because it was so. It's not that it's graphic, but it was just so like the way the serial killer's action was portrayed in a kind of unflinching light without any judgment, and I don't think people were at that point. It was like late 80s, people were really upset about it. I think I saw it at Berkeley, and some people were like gotten really upset and just walked out and banged the door. I just remember that really experience. Which brings us back to Silent Deadly Night was that there's still a very strong kind of like weird morality to the film. If you not agree that you kind of want him to kill the mother superior, because I think like when you ask about who was the villain in the movie, I felt like it's a mother superior, right?
Yeah.
Sort of like tortured him and made him like beat him up and just like, and then it's really, you kind of want him to really, drop the axe on her, and at the end, it didn't happen, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, it didn't happen. Right. I know. And so I don't know.
It's came close to. I mean, obviously, you don't like what he does by going crazy, but it's sort of like you do kind of like sympathize with him.
Yeah.
Quite a bit, as a character.
Right. Yeah, I bought it. I bought that he was the way he is because he was like traumatized as a child. Yeah. Like, why do people kill? Why do people become serial killers? And so. So that's why this was a good one. This was a good slasher movie. And it was kind of like, there's like the irony, right? That he's supposed to be Santa Claus, and so everyone trusts him, or he's supposed to be all jolly and happy, but really he's, it's a symbol of like danger and evil for him. And I liked, there's just something about when you watch movies from another era that, this movie made me think that's what's great about film, like being a time capsule, because like a lot of the first part of the movie when they're in the toy store, when he has a job, it just made me like, oh, wow, that is not around anymore. There's not really a toy store. Even Toys R Us is gone, basically, right? So like
there are a few left, very few.
Like, oh yeah, like you're right. Like this, you're right. I should take that back. There's like a small like mom and pop toy stores, but I mean, I know so many people that buy their toys from Amazon, right? And like Target is a toy section, but it's not quite the same. It's all the way in the back. And
Yeah.
but there's just something about, like, I remember, you guys remember walking into Toys R Us and like, or there was other ones too.
Or KB toy stores.
Yes. KB
That was in the
Toys.
mall. Those were the mall.
And you just
What
walk
is, what
in
is that
and
toy
see
store that
toys.
that Big was in? It's a
FAO Schwartz.
Oh,
That I thought was really a beautiful toy store with, when I was a kid.
I worked at I was a manager at FAO Schwartz in Glendale. It was challenging. Because their thing was you could play with any toy, just play with it beforehand. And so it's a lot. It was very challenging sometimes. Like, and then during holidays, it was hilarious because, parents would drop off their kids at the store, like not with us, but just drop them off because they just wanted the kids to play, and then they went to go shop. But the problem was Macy's would be open another 2 hours after us, and so they would come. Like we would close the store, and there'd be like 5 or 6 kids in our store that had no parents.
So so the kids were allowed to play the toys?
No, they weren't supposed to be there. I mean, yeah, kids could play with the toys, but they're supposed to be with their parents still.
But what did you say about the toys that kids, they can play with any toy they want or something?
Yeah, like all the kids, there's a toy, all the toys were available to play with kids, and then they could buy it if they wanted to, but the parents would drop them off. And so what happened when we closed I'd have to call the police because there's police in the mall, and they would come and pick up the kids. Every night this happened. They would come and pick up the kids, and then they would get mad, and then parents would come like an hour later, and then they get mad at me, and I'm like, well, what did you expect? Like, what do you want me to kick the kids out of the store? Like, I can't just release these kids. And so, I'm like, go to the police station. They're like, we can't go to the police station. I'm like, but I don't know what to like, how do I know which kid to give the parent, like which parent to give the kid to? And it was just a funny thing. Anyway.
Gosh, that is
So wasn't FAO Schwartz was the first major toy store that closed first? Because it was a big deal, right? Before Toys R Us, right?
Yeah. Because FAO Schwartz, the prices were like 40% higher than like Toys R Us. So I didn't like, when I worked there, I didn't understand why people were buying toys there. It didn't make any sense. I was like, you could just go to KB toy stores on the other side of the mall, and like the prices are like half the price, or go to Toys R Us and it's like a fourth of the price. Anyway, sorry.
No, why is it expensive? Because they had to account for like the opening.
Well, there's just more service. Like we would wrap the presents, we'd like play with you. It was much more of like a boutique. It was like a boutique toy store. I mean, they had better toys, but also just, it was like more boutique-y. Anyway.
I mean, in the movie Big, it's awesome in that movie. It's like, I've never been to a toy store like that. Like, because I don't remember I don't know if I'd been into an FAO Schwartz. I don't know if there was any in San Jose. Probably San Francisco.
There was one in San Francisco, but not in San Jose.
Yeah,
it wasn't like it wasn't everywhere. It was like, it was a very boutique-y. There's one in South Coast. There was one in for LA, South Coast, Glendale, and then there was, and there's only a couple everywhere. So anyway, sorry guys.
No, I loved it. Yeah, so it's like the toy store stuff. That was fun. It's just like, that's what's great about movies, oh, there goes my camera again. So many technical difficulties today. But like, how do I get it to work? No. But yeah, that's what's great, you just capture things the way they were once.
And
so what's Silent Night, Bloody Night is about?
Yeah, well, here, start that while I fix my stupid camera.
That movie was from 1972. By the way, it sounds way less interesting than your story, but the story that you guys watched. But it was about this guy that owned this mansion, and he was inheriting it, and there'd been a murder in this mansion. It was over Christmas time, and the people move into this mansion, and this guy, the person that originally killed all these people from this mansion, start killing everybody again.
The guy who killed, was he still in the mansion?
He was still like, he was like a guy from the town. So he the home used to be a mental institution too. I should mention that, but it used to be
the home was a mental institution. But why would someone buy a mental institution?
Well, because it's beautiful. It was like a beautiful Victorian house. It was like this kind of like, it didn't look like a mental institution. It looked like this thing. But anyway, it was terrible. It was really not worth watching.
So what happens at the end?
It like becomes like where everybody starts getting killed as they
on Christmas Eve.
I don't think it was Christmas Eve. It was during Christmas time, I think. It was like very wintry. That's why I was trying to figure out how it's like related to Christmas. So, but your guys' movie sounded way better. I'm gonna have to watch the movie you guys.
The Silent Night, Bloody Night doesn't have any Christmas. It's not a Christmas horror movie.
No, it's winter. I think it's like wintry. It felt very Christmassy, but it wasn't. It didn't have any Christmas themes to it, which maybe should have been a sign why I shouldn't have watched it. But what's your favorite part of the movie, Quentin?
Well, I think like I always, my favorite part of the movie was actually I would say when they were coming down the sleigh, that beheading scene in the sleigh. I always kind of like thought it was hilarious, and it's kind of like bizarre and weird and scary.
Jennifer, what's your
and also
favorite
the antler scene was a little bit horrific, like and I thought the killing scenes are very well staged, because it's not like the killer has the upper hand all the time.
Yeah.
Like almost like I guess it's one scene where he killed the girl, the first. Is it the first? No, he after the toy store killed the girl in the random house, and then the boyfriend came, and it was like the boyfriend was kind of about this guy's size, and they were fighting, and so I thought that scene was pretty funny, well choreographed also.
Interesting.
Yeah, there were some bizarre, weird kills. Yeah, the beheaded guy on the sleigh or sled, and then the taxidermy. He takes the girl and he stabs her through the taxidermy.
Yeah. Antlers,
like gores her in there. And like there was some cool stuff. And then like I don't know, I love that shot whenever they take a knife and they cut a girl right between the boobs. I don't know, I've seen that several times in movies, like and slice, I don't know, there's something about that's really disturbing. It's like,
Yeah, and also like he killed the girl that he kind of like had a crush on, kind of thing.
I know.
I didn't know, because I guess maybe I missed it when I was watching. So that was a fantasy sequence that he was sleeping with this girl for the first time, and then this girl went ahead and go mess around with his boss or something. So
yeah, that was sad, and that guy was such a dick. But yeah, it was a good movie, good slash movie. And my favorite part was actually the guy, the actor. I like looked him up because didn't you think his performance was really good, Quentin? And I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just like and I was looking him up. I just like, wow, this guy just really, because he's just not he acts really traumatized.
Yeah.
Which is sort of more like that, and just somehow he's unpredictable, and at the same time you feel like he's also a good person, which is kind of sad.
Yes, it was exactly.
I mean, that's like he's still a very like much a good person. He's still in some way almost wanting to do the right thing. I don't know what the right thing is, but and he just cracked, kind of thing. It's kind of like it's also kind of like reminds me of Falling Down a little bit, because it's all set in this one Christmas kind of thing, and the reality is a lot of times that's what happens. Like in the holidays, like I just even sometimes going to dance studios, some people just went crazy around the holidays.
Wait, at a dance studio?
Yeah, so this random student came in and she started laughing and screaming in this really difficult instructor's class. And this instructor has learned, it's known to be sort of like very strict. And he was teaching a class maybe the 23rd or 24th, and then this girl came in and I guess he was like laughing a couple of times, and then the guy was like, he's like a serious kind of hip hop guy. So I said, why are you laughing? And the guy said, he said, you're so good, Jason. And then he freaked him out. And then he said, you got to get out. You got to leave this class right now. Wow. So it's around holidays, I always see some crazy people would come to class,
Oh.
And one time it was really awkward. It was like this guy, it looks like he was very hot around Christmas time, and he was barefoot. And we're dancing hip hop. Was like, and then he keeps like dancing barefoot, and then Jason, instructor at the end, says, I'm so sorry, but for hip hop you've got to wear shoes, and he doesn't have shoes.
Oh my God!
Are you taking a hip hop dance class?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not sure it's because in Hollywood it was this complex in Hollywood, so that could be some people that came in during after hours that they were not supposed to be in, and But yeah, the holidays, just like, you go to anything during the holidays, occasionally you bump into people who are like on the verge of cracking. And
Yeah. Well, that's because it's a hard time, especially if you don't have people to be around. It's probably pretty challenging. I mean, it's pretty tough for people.
I think for me, it's like, I don't know how you feel as a single parent. It's just like, oh my God, it's just always trying to figure out what to do for the holidays, because sometimes it's too much, like even for Thanksgiving, it's too much to cook a turkey just for two of you. So you invite friends, and especially now during COVID, I think this Christmas would be a perfect time to write a horror film, a Christmas horror film.
A Christmas, what kind of idea?
No, I'm just thinking like during COVID is the best thing. It's like, because police officers are not really there could be some kind of rampage, some kind of somebody. I'm surprised it hasn't been a serial killer yet, to be honest.
I see.
This is the best time to kill, don't you think? It's the best time to kill because people's guards are down, people are afraid, and
although now everyone's on Nextdoor. I mean, everyone's like texting about or writing everything about, like, it's like Nextdoor is going crazy because everyone's home and having time to stare at people.
Oh, Nextdoor.
But you don't. What do you do on Nextdoor? I don't get anything. I don't really. I mean, I get all these messages, but
Well, like, I mean, I think it depends on what community. But in Top Pass, for example, like, they're constantly like complaining about parking, complaining about somebody walking on the street that's not supposed to be there, complaining about coyotes
like that. Yeah,
oh, dude, there's like thousands of like messages, and it's just like people will go crazy, and these people weren't mad, and then people are like, you're a Trump person, and like they go off on each other, and it just ends up being this like long.
But mostly, I don't think the police are out to do anything, and police themselves are afraid of COVID. So
I don't know.
So I can't imagine that couldn't be a COVID killer.
I see the police around a lot. They're like making arrests and stuff, right?
I mean, usually isn't there more property crimes because people know that they're not home, and that and so.
Yeah, but now they're doing commercial. It's more commercial crimes.
Commercial crime? What do you mean?
Because you could go to like a business because nobody's in the business. Whereas normally you want to break into houses during the day, but now there's people in the houses all day. So
people are in the houses, so they're hitting up the business.
Cars and businesses are more likely to get hit now. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because if a business has to close, then you could just break in and nobody will be there, especially even in the middle of the day, or cars or like factories and stuff like that. Well, what are you guys doing for the holidays? I think this episode comes out on the 25th on Christmas. So what are you guys doing today?
Today, I have no idea because obviously it's not the holiday. We'll have to figure it out. Well, I think I'm going to Orange County actually.
To do what?
So that we could eat out.
Huh? Oh, to eat out. Oh, to eat out.
To eat out. So because Casper likes the beach. So maybe I'm thinking maybe the 24th, 25th, we go to like a beach hotel and just stay there.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, we were just figuring it out last night. I think I'm going to go to my parents over in Palm Springs in Indio. And a friend of mine is doing like a virtual Christmas party where we're doing Secret Santa, and you're shipping the Secret Santa present ahead of time to that person's place, and he paired us up. So I have that on Christmas Day night. So I'll be meeting. I don't know if I don't know how many people are going. I just know the host, and so maybe there'll be people I know or don't know. And then and there's an ugly Christmas sweater contest, and then I'm supposed to have a Friendsmiths with my best friends. We've been best friends since we were 14 years old, and we all have kids, and we always like do these traditions together. And so I think on the DL, I don't even know if I should be putting this on here, but like we are gonna do something for New Year's. So we're moving our Friendsmiths to New Year's Eve. And we're going to do like an Airbnb. It's just 3 households, and we're all going to be tested before. So it's like, a small pod where none of us, we don't gather a lot. We've been very COVID friendly, but like, these are my bestest friends since I was like preteen. So like, and we're going to do that. So that's what I'm super looking forward to this. So that'll feel really festive. And I was supposed to have a Friendsgiving. We canceled it because, the COVID cases, we were just all scared. We're just scared.
I did a Friendsgiving. It was fine.
Yeah.
I tried to do it outside, but who knows?
You did it outside?
We tried to, but it's too cold.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty safe. You get tested all the time, so you're not the one.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my test to come in. I just got tested yesterday morning.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out with the family, and the best thing about this holiday is though is that there's no parties or events I have to go to, because during this time there's so many events you have to go to, so many parties, so many things, so many. It's just like Asian Pacific Heritage Month. It's like so much stuff you have to do. But this year it's like none of it. Everything is either virtual and I'm not showing up, or it's just I don't have. There's nothing going on. So that makes me really really happy. So month of November is way better, or December is way better than normal. But I think we're just gonna. I just bought food from Tam O'Shanter's holiday dinner for New Year's, Christmas Eve, and then
Pamela
Christmas.
Shanters?
Tam O'Shanter's, in Los Feliz, the steak place.
Oh, that place on Los
It's the
Feliz
first
Boulevard.
Lowry.
Yeah, it's like a Lowry's.
It's
I
the
think
first one.
Yeah, it's the first. It's part of the company, right? The same company.
Yeah, the first Lowry's in LA.
Yeah, and then and then kind of just doing a Chinese dinner for Christmas, but yeah, nothing exciting. We're just doing the family thing. I
But
think
do people have Christmas Eve dinner or Christmas Day dinner?
we always do both. We have like a big dinner. Usually we invite like my family, but my stepdad is of the age that we have to be worried about, so we're trying not to go over there. So we just drop off food and say Merry Christmas, and then we go back home.
Aw.
But at least they get some extra food, you know.
Yeah. What does Takao want for Christmas? Did he ask Santa yet? The real
Oh,
Santa?
yeah. We're not going to Santa. Yeah. He didn't ask for anything. He just, yeah. We're not. I mean, we're trying to do a lot of. I'm trying to get him to start a nonprofit. So that's about not giving stuff. So we're talking a lot about how to make the world a better place. So we're doing a lot of that stuff. So nothing from Santa at this point, but I'm gonna give him something. Don't worry. But we'll see. But to everybody listening, have a Merry Christmas and have a great New Year's and have a wonderful other holiday you're having. We're very inclusive here. But thank you for listening and watching. And please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast. And like I said, we're going to take a couple weeks off, or we're going to take a month of January off, and we're going to come back. We'll have a little bit of different format. It'll be similar, but we're going to try something new. See if you guys like it. And otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you, Quentin, and thank you, Jennifer. And peace out to everybody. Bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.